Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Oh, hi. Oh, hey. Oh, hee 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 hee. Oh, hee hee ha ho ha. Oh, well, I don't have the other camera on. Hold on. Pay no attention. Pay no heed to the camera in the background. We just turn it on. Hold on. I thought I did this already. I must not have. Refresh. There we go. Fresh device. Once more time. Use Wi-Fi IP. What the fuck? I have to do it again. I have to do it again. Hold on. I thought I had this all set up already. But apparently not. Come on, camera. Oh, probably because the phone shut off. Probably because the phone shut off. The other wasn't getting any signal. That would explain it. Show the Wi-Fi IP. Not yet, Vega. Not yet. One day we will. And then you'll all come to my house and bug me there. USB. Activate. There we are. Okay. Now I can just snap this up here. Up. Turning that way. Up. Not like that. There. Okay. Well, that's awful. Also, hello, Vega and Stone. Where are the boys? The boys are not here, your heretical ass. Your heretical ass will not be allowed here. We're doing a tech priest who's in need of oil. Who's in need of some oils. Sorry, it took me a minute to start. How dare you, Vega? Not that one. This one. Bruh. 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 Oh god, I hiccup. So we can pull this in a little bit here. Let me pull this in over here. And what do you want, Piper? What do you need, Piper? Do you go outside? You want to go outside, Piper? No? Then hush. Hush, we're not talking to you. We're not talking to you, Piper. We're not talking to you. Yeah, get. Piper, get. Out from under the table. Making the whole thing shake. I started talking. She starts going, what? Yes, talking to me? Talking to me? No one's talking to you, Piper. No one's talking to you. Sorry I'm a little late today. I wanted to use this today, and I forgot how to use it. I have kind of forgot how to use it. So I needed to Google how exactly I'm supposed to fucking use this thing. But I'll show you later. I figured it out. I relearned. I relearned how to do it. Let me get the stream playlist going. Boop. There we go. Alright, let's get back to this, because we procrastinated this last time. I watched too many videos and procrastinated actually painting this guy. So I want to get him done tonight. I want to at least finish one model on this goddamn stream, alright? Just one model. One. I need to trim my fingernails a little bit too. Every mundane thought will just pass my mind in 5 seconds. No videos tonight? Not for a little bit. We will for like 30 minutes once I get further along on this guy, because the Shrieking Grime requires like... I can turn that down a little bit more. Because the Shrieking Grime requires like a bit more time to dry before I do stuff with it. So we'll have like 30 minutes to fuck around with videos. So that's when we'll watch the videos. I'm making you the soundtrack to the hell that is filing my tax tonight. You waited until the last fucking minute to do that, didn't you? Are you sure you're not late? My god, man. My god, you really did wait till the last minute. I'll find out. I think you are late, actually. Depending on your time zone. If you're in the same time zone as me, you're late. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Zora, I forgot to turn it on. Hold on. Hold on, I forgot to turn it on. 1 minute. Oh no. Oh no. You should have did your taxes last week, man. There we go. Now it's on. There we go. Now it's on. Now, what should I do for this guy in the meantime? We got things to do on him. Yes, we do. We got bags to paint. Bits to make brass. We got plenty of work to do on him. We still got plenty of work to get done, so let's get chopping on it. So how's everyone's week been? Mine's been a week and a half. Vega's not paying his taxes to the government. Did mine the first week of February. Nerd. Nerd. You ruined my entrance. Well, your entrance should have been better. All the cool people don't. I did mine last week. I don't pay my taxes early anymore. I paid my taxes once in February, and then they did a big fucking tax cut shortly after. Now that should have fixed. That should have made it work. Let me try this. Let me try resetting this. That should have worked. Alright there, now try. Try it now. See if that fixed it. For some reason, it's being a little finicky today. But yeah, like I did my taxes, because last time I did my taxes early, they did a big tax rollout. And it was like, and I would have gotten, and my taxes would have cost way less if I had waited till then. Let's get right into it. Ah! I see you there, replay buffer. Stop that. Stop that, replay buffer. Bastard. I had to watch out for that. He sneaks up on me, that motherfucker. Let's do this. Oh, so I heard an interesting question. Why didn't it work? Now, why didn't that work? Everything's on. That's on. That's on. Is this connected? That's connected. I guess it's broken today. Couldn't really tell you why. Everything should be on. It was working just before. Let's see. Test the command. Alright, well, that worked. I don't pay taxes. Yeah. Alright, well, that worked. So why didn't the command work on the YouTube side? I don't know. I don't know why that didn't work. It's all connected? Well, it shouldn't have any. This is all connected by default, so that should be working the way it should be. YouTube just hates me. Apparently so. I could not tell you why. But yeah, I lost a lot of money the last time I paid my taxes early. Yep, there it goes. Now it's working. YouTube just ate your previous ones, it looks like. Pain, Pecco. But, someone would have been more an interesting question today. Why is it that Resident Evil can't get a good movie adaptation made of it? Unlike, say, Sonic, which got apparently a good movie adaptation, and people like the Super Mario movie. For some reason, despite the fact that Resident Evil has gotten, like, 8 movies. Not a single one of them's any good, or even remotely close to being Resident Evil. Can you pay your taxes with Warhammer minis? No. Despite the fact you have to pay for them with your weight in silver, despite the fact you pay for them with your weight in silver, they don't apparently hold any monetary value. Weird. But just kind of funny to think about. It was a critical drinker video today. 3D print off-brand figures to pay my taxes. I'm pretty sure it's even worth less money. I'm pretty sure that makes it actually even worth less money. Like, one of the things people brought up is, like, the fact that, like, all the Resident Evil stuff basically seem to have a very, allergic reaction to the idea of actually adapting Resident Evil into a movie. Despite the fact it would be the easiest thing to adapt into a movie, everyone who's tried to adapt it have done the, I'm not going to do Resident Evil, I'm going to do my story of Resident Evil. That's just using the skin of Resident Evil, but not actually Resident Evil. Like the Mila Jovovich movies, for instance, which were all just like a massive excuse for what's his name? For what's his name to put his wife in skin-tight outfits and have her do action scenes. Which, I mean, I guess it's good they have a good relationship with each other, but I don't know why Resident Evil had to suffer for that. The most we got out of that was it just blatantly stealing scenes from the video games and putting it into the movies. Like, a lot of, it's kind of really funny for a movie that was so allergic to adapting Resident Evil, but in any way, shape, and form, stole so many fucking scenes from the movies, or from the video games. Like, I remember when Resident Evil Afterlife came out, right? And this was shortly after Resident Evil 5 came out, right? And they had Chris and Jill in that movie, and they had them do that fight, and they had them fight Wesker, and they just basically stole that entire sequence when Sheva and Chris try to fight Wesker, and he does all that fucking Matrix bullshit to dodge all their bullets at point blank, and just throws them around, and even the one where he throws his sunglasses at them. And he even steals a line, I admit you're becoming a bit of an annoyance, Chris. And which is really funny because in this franchise, he has no fucking idea who Chris and Jill even are. What about the animated movie? The animated movie also kind of does its own thing because it's in its own continuity. With its own little, like, here are things that happen in Resident Evil, but we're in a completely different location doing completely different things. Right? It's not really an adaptation of Resident Evil 1, or Resident Evil 2, or Resident Evil 3. Right? Like, all the animated ones just do their own thing. And that's the same thing with the Return to Raccoon City, too, which it didn't have anything to do with 1, 2, with Resident Evil. Even though it was probably the closest to actually being Resident Evil. And now we have Weapons being... The guy who made Weapons is making an adaptation of Resident Evil. And it's also not going to be Resident Evil. It's also not going to be Resident Evil. It's going to be, as the director says himself, the writer-director says himself, because he's doing both roles, basically. It's going to be a movie that he was going to tell anyway, but it's just going to happen to be in Resident Evil. But it's going to be the movie that he wants to make, and it's not, and if you want to see Leon's story, go play the video games, is what he says. Which is just like, oh, cool. Like, oh, cool. So it's going to be yet another thing with the skin of Resident Evil draped over it, and I'm supposed to give a fuck about it because, look, it has a thing that you recognize in it. Now watch the rest of my movie that no one would have given a shit about if it wasn't Resident Evil. If I didn't, it's always like that for some reason with Resident Evil. I don't know why. Like every single person who touches Resident Evil just seems to really, really, really want to do their own thing with it and not touch any of the characters at all that exist in the franchise. They don't want to tell the story of the Arkley Mansion and what happened there. They don't want to talk about Leon's first day on the job as a police officer or Jill being chased by Nemesis. They don't give a fuck about any of that shit. They just want to do, like, here's my skin suit of Resident Evil, and I might throw you a bone of a reference here or there. It's just like, man, what fucking Resident Evil do to people? Whose fucking grandma did Resident Evil kill to give it such a like a gypsy's curse of bad directors? And like, I'm sure like the weapons guy will make an okay movie. People like weapons for some reason. I don't know why. I watched Weapons with Cookie for the first time, and both of us walked away going, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that shit? But people seem to really like it. People seem to really like it for some reason. I don't fucking know. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. But maybe because I'm not a big fan of like who here, show of hands in chat, who gives a fuck about spoilers for weapons? I guess we'll just say this outright. Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning! If you don't want to be spoiled, stick cakes and cockroaches down your ears for the next like 5 minutes. This is my fucking channel. I can do what I want. Yeah, I'm just not really too enthusiastic, right, about a plot line whose entire twist is it was magic. The magic lady came into town with her magic witch powers and made it all happen. And apparently everyone's just really oblivious to this fucking weirdo who just arrived in town and is walking around, coincidentally, when all the children disappear. And then no one seems to really find that odd. And I'm just like, it's going the whole thing about weapons. It's like, the reveal was so fucking weak. The reveal of what was going on was so weak. And the only good part that really came out of it was when she got torn apart like by a bunch of feral children. That was probably the best part that came out of it. Everything else really wasn't interesting. I just put my hand over it. It's over here. You remember the lens is right here. And you remember the lens is like right here. I keep moving over this way. I really probably should adjust to actually, you know, maybe I should just, let me just, can I like, hold on. I like adjust this a little bit. I want to pull away. I want to kind of like bring it back a little bit. Like so. Nope, now it wants to lean forward a lot. Now it's leaning forward. Those who are motion sickness, avert thy eyes. Now it's just really pulling it forward. See, now it's just really pulling it forward on an angle. Yeah, I think like up was like the best place for it to be. I think where it was literally the best spot it would be. I kind of just have to accept that this is where it has to be. I just gotta kind of have to accept that and just try to work with it. Anyway, It's... Yeah, but like, anyway, like, Weapon was a thing. It was a movie and a half, and I don't really understand why people love it. Just like Barbarians before it, really, actually. Barbarian was also a movie. I really didn't understand why people liked that movie. Can't wait for the camera drop to have a surprise reveal. No. This thing's sturdy. In fact, probably what's more likely to happen is that I'm going to keep leaning in closer and closer to my model that my nose is going to be fucking poking the lens. That's what's more likely to happen than anything. And let's get this cable underneath here. Oh yeah, like, it just seems like no matter who gets in charge of Resident Evil, they just seem to really don't want to tell the story of Resident Evil. Which, I don't know how you can say you're doing a Resident Evil story without any of the characters of Resident Evil. Because it really is the characters that make Resident Evil. Without, like, Leon, without Jill, without Claire, without Chris, without any of them, is Resident Evil even still Resident Evil, or is it just a generic zombie movie? You know? Like, there's really, without those characters, there's really nothing special about Resident Evil that really stands out as a franchise. Aside from being the quintessential zombie game. But, like, it just baffles me. It baffles me to no end. That you go, I'm just going to tell my story in Resident Evil. So you're just going to tell a generic zombie movie. And then occasionally something familiar to a game will show up. Also Sheva. Well, seeing as Capcom doesn't seem to remember that Sheva fucking exists. Mainly because they've attributed Sheva to the racist one. So they're just kind of trying to pretend that one doesn't exist anymore. But let's point out, Sheva has not been mentioned in any Resident Evil game following 5. As opposed to fucking Rebecca, who came up in Resident Evil 9, and nobody even fucking remembers where she's from. And she's in the fucking Revelation games. No one fucking knows where she's from. How dare they have a badass African woman? I think it's just because she's heavily attributed to Resident Evil 5, and Capcom wants to forget that Resident Evil 5 exists. Because a bunch of fucking wankers decided that they were going to have a problem of a game set in Africa that has you shooting, well, black people. You know? And then they all had a huff about it back in the day. Which is why I say, you never hate games journalists enough. You never hate games journalists enough. They always just like ruining your fun. See, here I am over here, and I should be over here. Here I am over there, and I should be over here. Maybe I should flip the camera around the other way. That would probably help if I actually flipped it like 180 to this camera the other direction. Just gotta get this. Sorry, I'm focusing on that. There we go. Yeah, it's just one of those things. One of those things that'll never be brought up ever again. But hell, Resident Evil 9's trying to pretend that fucking, it's trying to pretend that, fucking Oswald Spencer actually felt kind of bad about the whole trying to become God thing. and made Elpis. And people are going around trying to fucking cope their way through the lore of Resident Evil 9 and going, actually, it's all part of Oswald's plan to come back from the fucking dead like Palpatine. Because it's all about rewriting memories, don't you understand? That was the research he was doing. Yeah, don't you get it? And all these T-viruses and stuff are just getting in the way. So he had the means to get rid of them. So he can have a clean slate for his resurrection. So that we can have Resurrection O, and Oswald Spencer will have become Wesker 4.0. And then everyone will collectively go. Everyone who didn't dive into the deep lore of Resident Evil 4, not Resident Evil 4, the lore of the Resident Evil franchise in general will go, who's Spencer? Who? The geriatric man in the wheelchair? Being killed by Wesker was all part of the plan. I can't fucking wait. I hope it's true. Stone, you have no fucking idea. I hope it's true. I hope every single schizophrenic thing people are coping about Resident Evil 9 right now is fucking true. Because that'd be the funniest fucking shit. Getting a hand, having Wesker betray me and stab me right through the chest was all part of my grand evil plan. Do you know how many memes about the landlord apartment from Smiling Friends I can do? if it's fucking Oswald Spencer comes back from the dead? Do it. Make the memes. It doesn't make sense yet. Because right now it's just people's theories. Hi, Teddy. It has been a minute. How are you doing? It doesn't make sense yet to do it, Teddy. The meme hasn't become reality yet. When the meme becomes reality, that's when we'll do it. Terribly. Excellent. Well, you know what they say, it can always get worse. But we're talking about Resident Evil 9 lore. Sort of. More than Oswald Spencer lore in general. It has been for the last few months. Oh no. Oh no. Well, fuck. Well, not much I can offer about that, except my condolences. What paintbrush should I use? What was I saying? I'm sure it's not quite a cliff face yet. You still sound like you have hope in your voice. That means it hasn't gotten so bad yet. Painting a tech priest with those brushes? No. No, I won't clean my brushes. It won't happen. Watch. Watch this shit. Wait, do I actually want to paint that? I don't know if I want to paint that. Wait a minute. Now you got me fucked up. I don't even know if I want to paint that. Yes, I do. But yeah, I I hope Oswald Spencer comes back from the grave. Watch, it's happening. Look at it happen. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening, Teddy. Oh, that's unfortunate. I had a cousin die that way too. Oh man, pneumonia? That sucks. Sorry to hear that. I'm still not changing my brushes for it though. Whoa, that's brutal. Well, that's fucking brutal. God damn. God, there's really not much I can tell you about that. That's brutal. I only had a cousin who got hit by a... He got hit by a drunk driver. At about the same age, actually. He was at a skate park. And he came out to try to go out to the parking lot at a skate park. And a guy ran him over. Apparently it happened very fast. So I'm told, at least. Yeah, that's a long drive and a long fly. See. And this cable here, I think? I think one of this cable on his chest here as well. I want to paint that too. And then over here. Oh, I still need a bit more black on his tube there. Uh-oh. What's your brother doing there for? Crashing at your place while you're gone? I see, I see. That's crazy. So it has been the past couple months for you, huh? Is this the crazy woman? Is this that crazy woman you went on a date with, what we talked about a few months back? Next song. Man, that's crazy. No, the crazy woman was a singular date. I don't know. You seem to have found multiple crazy women. I'm just saying. I don't know about that. I'm just saying, I'm noticing a pattern here. The X was before that. Oh, so even before that. Okay. I forgot about tubes under his body here. Got the old Teddy lore. And then brush up under here. There we go. Now that tube's a little more cleaned up. That little tube right there. I don't know if you can see it very well. Kind of hard to show. The tube right there. The pattern crooked is I'm unlucky. Well, that does seem to be a string of misfortune, that's for sure. You don't know the half of it. Lots of work. It takes a lot of effort to fuck up a brush like this, I'll have you know, and still have them be functioning. Well, that is unfortunate, Teddy. I feel for you. I hope it gets better. I remember that. You told me that. I told you needed to duck better. I remember. Cables. Cables. Yes, more cables. We require a red. What's the point of a bulletproof shield if it's designed for someone who's 5'8" and I'm 6'4"? Gotta crouch down a little bit. You gotta slouch. So remember, slouching's a free action. Just like my one friend in the D&D in our Pathfinder game that I keep telling, slouching's a free action. You're a free action. Change the subject a little bit. My friend made a character in Pathfinder that was fucking insane. Like, he had a bunch of abilities that all had very specific parameters to activate. One of the things was like a lightning strike ability, right? It was an ability that allowed him to basically use a crash of lightning to do a bunch of damage to someone. The parameter to activate this ability, though, was the target had to be taller than him. That was the parameter to activate it. He had to be taller than him. Which made it really funny when he made his character like 6'3". Little Man said, sorry from Little Man said, no, he's 6'3". He made his character fucking 6'3". just like every fucking fight, without fail, the fight begins, roll initiative, DM, how tall is he? How tall is the Dragonkin man? Would you say he's 6'4", 6'5", maybe? That's what we told him. Like, why did you make an ability? Why did you make a character with an ability when height is necessary to determine whether or not you can actually do damage with this ability? And you decided to make yourself 6'3" instead of making yourself a fucking halfling or a gnome. And we kept telling him, and it's not like it has to be like real height, right? The thing just has to be taller than him. So it doesn't have to be like compare his 6'3" to his 6'4". He just has to be lower than his opponent. And so it's just like, so we kept telling him every game, my friend, slouching is a free action. Well, why aren't you like? Oh, so carrier show. The carrier, just slouch. Just kneel down. Like, crouch down a little bit. These are all free actions you can do to make someone taller than you. You're not fighting gnomes. You're fighting a Dragonkin man. Lay down on the ground. Something. He wouldn't do it. He fucking refused. He fucking refused every time to do that. He was like, no, how tall is he? Is he taller than me? And I said, he's shorter than you. You're 6'3". And he would get mad at me because I didn't make the man like 7 foot tall. Because the dwarf man that they were fighting was shorter than him, so his arbitrary ability couldn't work. I'm like, what do you want me to do about it, man? Wait, what is he, a dwarf with bigot? With a dwarf with giantism? Like, fuck me, man. Piper, you go outside. I had a friend playing a halfling dwarf with giantism, so yeah, that's pretty much what it is. That's what dwarf with giantism is, just a man. Piper, you go outside. Go on, you go outside. Oh, fuck me, that man. Fuck me gently, that man was... I enjoy him as a person, but like, my god, he's a strangely frustrating human being. who will start fights for over nothing. And not like he wouldn't like start like yelling fights or anything like that, but he would just get obstinate about so many fucking things for no reason. Like, we were talking about soups at one point, right? Like, it just regular banter ended up at soup somehow. And I won't forget this, because we were talking about making beef soup, right? And then he's just like, oh, my family made beef soup all the time. And oh, how'd they make it? Like, oh, they added a bunch of vegetables to it and chicken. And then we just kind of like, I mean, like, dude, wait, what? What do you mean you're making beef soup with vegetables and chicken? Hold on. Wait, what? And we were just like, dude, that's not beef soup. There is no beef in the beef soup. It's not beef soup. And he would not back down. He's like, no, that's how my family made it. And it's just like, well, your family's making it wrong. He's like, I understand what you're saying, but like, that's just how my family did it. And it's like, that's straight corpse starch. Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, and he just like, he called his, the fight, he got so obstinate during that fight, right? He got so fucking obstinate over it and just refused to fucking back down. He called his grandma in the middle of fucking, in the middle of us talking about this, going, no, you're wrong, to ask her how she would make beef soup. And then she told him how he said to make it can be quite a lot of fun. It can also be one of the most mind-boggling things as you think back on, like, why the fuck was he like this? You know? He was just such a strange character, he was. That man was an odd character. And really liked putting himself in weird positions. For literally no reason. And then he get helpy at me as the DM for having the situation backfire on him. Oh, the older boy. It's always the man with the body odor, isn't it? That's always the man with the problem. The man doesn't shower. Okay, come on, you. I hate about these small brushes. They dry out so quick. You didn't ask a random stranger to DM for you, did you? Teddy, you didn't ask a random stranger to do that. I could have told you that's a bad idea from the get-go. Never have a randos DM for you. Kinda with the cable. Kinda cable, kinda. The one thing I do hate about these cables is how they twist in on each other. Make it hard to pick out individual strands of cable. Let me finish though. Let me finish. Let me finish the story. Man wants his story time. Fine. Fine then. I'm trying to get back. You should really be blunt with these people. Anyway. See, you're playing chicken games with introverts. It doesn't work like that. You gotta lock them in a room together for several days, and then maybe they'll be begrudging friends. That's how you do it. You'll just lock them in D&D games with each other. And then we got an assortment of cables with different colors. Neat. Oh, we sit down, talk about that. It was a horrible idea. Let's just see. Good memories, yeah. I understand that. I understand that. Though I don't understand the tired of being the forever DM, as I'm someone who actually likes being the forever DM. I'm actually someone who doesn't fucking like playing Dungeons and Dragons, but loves running Dungeons and Dragons. I'm weird. Otaku needs special buffoon ever. Interesting. So, which waifu did he add to the game? Which waifu OC did he add to the game to railroad you into the plot? Was it the usual Asuka? Spouses for classic. Love it. I love when they get awkward like that. I like that color. Those color would be a little different, but I don't like it for a cable. Let's see, we got another color here, maybe instead. We have blue and green. Make her character a Futanari. He'd be into that. No, that's a bad idea. Teddy, it's a terrible idea. He'd be into it. Uh-oh. The whole lid twisted off. The whole thing twisted off. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I have a huge fucking splooge in my table now. I guess not this color. Let's see, can I twist it back on, twist it back off? Oh yeah, that kind of worked. Okay, it kind of worked. So what happened next? We all spilled the null oil. I didn't spill the null oil, the whole cap twisted off. It's crazy. Wow! Hi, Queen. You're just in time to hear about the Futanari. Oh yay, my favorite, yeah! Proceeds the railroad's NPC for the long rest. Oh, nice. Classy, classy, gotta love it, gotta love it. Maybe leaving his cables black would have been a better idea, actually. Yeah, maybe that's better. Excuse me, what? Sir, I beg your finest pardon, you missed a few steps there. What? So I'm like, what? Sir, you skipped a few steps. We didn't even get the wooing session? Yeah, it's basically flirting through with an NPC. You had to be a Futanari. Did you guys get to hear the description of like this, of all this happening? What was the verbiage used? What words did they say? Nat 20, it's an orc. Probably could auto crit fail on a willing target, but anyway. Auto pass on a willing target. Probably didn't need to roll that. It's 100% not willing. Oh no. Well, willing to get him into the room. And then you never saw him again, huh? Classic, classic. Classic that guy story. Oh, the game store closed down, but I guess you never talked to that guy ever again? Was he only in the store? I thought you said he was your friend. Well, that's the problem with any game store. Yeah, but aren't you? Didn't you say you were friends with the DM? Sort of. Kinda. You knew him. I'm done with this. He's done with this, he says. Ah, yes, more murder drones. Yay. God, I'm too obsessed with this fucking series. God, I'm too obsessed with murder drones. I've been buying a fuckload of murder drones merch recently. So much. I want to buy more. No! No! A room full of people who struggle to find relationships may or may not be able to behave properly around those of the female variant? Say it ain't so! Ugh. You hate to hear it. No, man, you gotta love those DM stories. Those are the funny ones. I used to love watching those kinds of stories all the time on YouTube. As it would. It would for me too. Get some browns here. Damn, I'm old. I feel that. I feel that. When you realize you're not in your 20s anymore. I'm starting to get to that point. I am, we're painting this guy, Emma. This little guy, and I'm getting paint on my arm. It's a tech priest. He doesn't have all the stuff yet. We still gotta paint his backpack. And his little weapon. Got a little weapon. Wow, yay. Would make him very pretty. Let's see what we can do with this. I was talking about, to get more DM stories, talking about... My friend had quite a colorful character up until he stopped playing. Finally gotten where I want to be again. Nice. This is the one you used brown on? Yes, this is the one we used brown on. Not to be confused with brown, but brown, you see. And now we're intentionally using brown. Trying to get his pouches behind his gun. Yeah, but that guy had a death wish or something. Yeah, the tweet got every so often, probably because my hands get in front of the camera as I try to get in really close so I can see what I'm doing. They make so many small details on these fucking models, I swear to God. But my friend had of all time the cavalcades of things of just him trying to get himself killed. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but he certainly kept putting himself in that position. For instance, we were playing a game where he was playing a monk. He called himself Rune Blackstar, which was fucking insane name. And they got up to the big bad evil guy, right? They got up to the final boss. The final boss of the adventure. It was on like the other side of this like narrow bridge. And underneath was basically a river that ran into an underwater cave. It was like inside, they were like deep inside a big cave. And then there was a river inside that cave that came out from an unknown water source and went to an unknown water source. And he, instead of going across the bridge, tried to jump it. Now, the book Adventure tells me very explicitly that if someone falls in, they have X amount of time to get out or they die. and I made it clear to them, like, if you go down in that water, there's a good chance you will die. There's a good chance you will just be Cheetoed into an underwater cave somewhere and slowly suffocate to death. So not ideal. Does he care? Fuck, he don't. He yeets himself across that precipice. And he almost died instantaneously. It was a far jump to make, even for his character. Precipice. Yes. Precipice. It was a far jump to make, even for his character. Even with monk actions. And he failed the roll, but fortunately he had a hero point, so he got a reroll. I was talking about other friends' exploits, more D&D stories. So he got a reroll because he had a hero point, and he barely made it across the precipice. Barely. Everyone was just like, this is it. This is where he dies. This is it. This is where he plummets to his doom, and we never see him again. Fortunately for him, that did not happen. He was blessedly saved from his own hubris. But that never stopped him again. But it's not like he ever learned his lesson. As in later adventures, like with the Mr. I need my opponent to be taller than me. Decided that he was going to, I forget what it was. It was like a sky worm of some kind. It was like creature 8 to his like creature to his like level 7 or 6, level 6. So not a thing he can really take on alone. But the sky worm doesn't really fight you. If you could, they passed the checks so that they could convince it to leave. They basically RP'd their way out of dealing with that. The party did. Not Rune Blackstar though. No, this wasn't Rune Blackstar. This was Hell Vansing, I think was his fucking name or something like that. And he not for this motherfucker though. This motherfucker decided, no, that the worm's not getting away. I cast fly on myself and I go up to fight it. And I'm just like, dude, the rest of the party can't fly. You were literally going to be like 50 feet up in the air alone. Alone fighting the worm. And he's like, I got it all under control. I'm like, okay. So the fight begins, and he actually does get to go. He gets the initiative. He gets to go first. He does good damage to it. Admittedly, he does pretty good damage to it. But then it swings back, and it instantly drops him to 0 HP, and he plummets down. He plummets down about 50 feet, and he shockingly doesn't die from this. Very nearly died, but he didn't actually die. He was very close. And he just like, DM won't let me win the fight. Like, dude, it's fucking like way stronger than you. What do you mean I don't let? Yeah, no, I'm not gonna nerf you being an idiot. He just for some reason had like the idea in his head that the DM is supposed to like warp the situation to like so that he can have his awesome moments. Very main character syndrome. The Tarrasque turned into a chicken. Yeah, it's always funny when that happens. Yeah, we have like a very main character syndrome. Sometimes you get people. Yeah, you do like you don't want to kill everyone, but you do need them to understand. Look, motherfucker, if you're gonna put yourself in a stupid situation, I'm not gonna pull any punches. If you're gonna act like an idiot, I will let you die. It's a nice color for the face, though. That's a good color. Do dumb shit and you win super prizes. Yep, you've won the fuck around and find out contest. What do you win? Instant death. Man, that's a good color for the face, though. Look at that. It's a nice color. I think it's a little bit more added, but that's a really nice color. Yeah, shite. Need a bit more of that iron. Good color. It is a good color. It is. Was it ancient iron or old brown metal? I think it was ancient iron. I tapped the coil a little bit. Actually, it may have been. Actually, been old brown metal. Actually, it might have been old brown metal. Yeah, it was. It was old brown metal. Yeah, it's. You got some people's gotta learn. They gotta learn the lesson the hard way. Not that he ever learned his lesson. He never did. Maybe not want to go out tomorrow. Fuck you, crew. What'd I do? I see you're having a Tecton moment. Going out to meet someone? That's good. You should go out and meet someone, despite the fact that there are crazy people out there. You'll find someone nice eventually. One thing I must. What was I talking about earlier? Oh, yeah, I was hoping to bring Oswald Spencer back from the dead. I had another point that I was going to bring up, but I completely forgot. So I always do when I'm in my painting sessions. Like when I was graduating, she wasn't even in middle school yet. It feels fucking weird. I wouldn't really worry about that much. When you get to that point in the age gaps where they're fucking past the age of fucking like 23, I think it's just kind of like, as long as it's not like too egregious, it's not really something to worry about. As long as you're both consenting adults in the matter. Letting my dog socialize. Letting your dog socialize with people? Gross. Capricorn Orca. No. Here's one I'm looking for. Mask flesh. With other dogs you name can poop. No, that's not what I interpreted. That's not how I saw it. But anyway, continue. You were saying things? Saying words and stuff? There we go. Yeah, my dog found that handing out business cards is funny experts of barking at children. Good. I'm glad your dogs are getting business. They need to show everyone that there are professional standards around here. There we go. It's just because it's hot. The days have been getting warmer recently. Maybe he's not used to it. He's not used to it anymore. Is he an older dog or a younger dog? Like, how older is older? She's 13? Okay, yeah, she's getting old. There we go. Wait. Bring this over here. Keep sliding. I keep sliding over to the left. Without meaning to. Come on, little details here. Sorry, let me just focus on these little details real quick. There we go. Clean up that gun holster a little bit. It's beautiful, Pookie. And not Pookie! How dare you! Living on spite, pure Nazi rage. The Deutschen Pepper. I see. It just likes talking about its struggles all the time, does it? teenagers? My, tell me more. And then you murdered all the children, yes? As is the proper response. Guest dog between two. Start sharing all your water. Weakness. Such weakness. Make them pay for it. That's how you get good business acumen. Anyway, I think we're at the point where we're going to streaking grime this man. Well, actually, maybe we need to apply a bit more red. I think I want to do is streaking grime. I want to make sure the reds are popping enough on this so that when it gets darkened by streaking grime, the red stands out a bit more. Let me see. Making dog friends, are we? Can't believe. He's abandoned the humans. Look at Teddy, abandoning the humans. Can I get something? Oh yeah, yeah. I remembered something. I remembered! My brain works. So, remember last week when I was talking about Glitch Productions and Amazing Digital Circus? My theories about what was going on with that? With their movie theater debacle. Well, it turns out I was right. I was not present. Oh, well, let me give you the rundown. Let me give you the lowdown. So, Glitch Productions is the producer of many indie animations. They are a up-and-coming fledgling studio, basically, of indie animators. They've been making quite a few waves in the indie circuit. They're responsible for shows like Murder Drones, Amazing Digital Circus, Gaslight District, and Knights of Guinevere. Also, Lackadaisy is now part of them as well. So, recently, the Amazing Digital Circus has been a show they've been doing that's been coming out with consistent episodes for a little while now, a couple years. And we're at episode 9 of the Amazing Digital Circus, the last episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. And for this event, they actually managed to get to get they're gonna put episode 8 and episode 9, combine them together and put them in movie theaters. Actually, they actually worked out a deal with movie theaters to get the last episode of Amazing Digital Circus in theaters for Japan, America, and Latin America as well, and Canada. Which was pretty cool. It's pretty cool for an indie animation to be able to actually reach such a height. Again, especially to try on the heels of Markiplier, for instance, getting massive support for Iron Lung and getting that into more and more theaters. And they're trying to do this kind of the same thing. They don't have a massive amount of showings for it. But here's where the rub, here's where the issue sets in, right? Amazing Digital Circus's last episode, this is where the controversy sets in. It's coming out in theaters on June 4th. But the YouTube side, where they've released like everything else, every single indie animation they've ever made, has always been released for free on YouTube, right? And it's still going to be released for free on YouTube, but it's not coming out until the 26th. It's a whole 2 weeks after. Which has never happened before. There has never been a point where they've released a video, when they released this enemy animation and had such a delay between a point where you have to pay for it and the point where you can just watch it wherever you want, whenever you want. Which made a lot of people upset. Especially since there are a bunch of countries, like if you live in Europe, for instance, there were no showings for it at the time. I think there are some now, but like, if you lived in the UK, there were no showings for the Amazing Digital Circus last episode. So that means there's going to be people going to see it in theaters, and there's going to be tons of spoilers on the internet for the last episode of Amazing Digital Circus, which is going to piss a lot of people off because it's a very well-written show. It's a very well-written show, and it would suck to have the ending spoiled, because I have no idea what the ending's going to go with this. I actually managed to get a ticket to go see it in theaters, and I am very excited to go see it. I'm seeing it opening day, and yeah, it pissed a lot of people off, and I had some speculations as to why this happened in the first place, right? Why would they do this? It just seems like something that would be very much that would just piss off people, and there's no real outcome where someone's not going to be mad about this. Even in the writing room, like even when people writing this down, taking pen to paper, trying to figure out how to do this, like there's no fucking way in hell. So the people doing this weren't thinking, oh, people are gonna be really fucking mad when this happens. And I had a couple theories of like why this happened, right? My first theory was movie theaters. Because of the movie theaters, why the 2 week gap. Movie theaters want to have their exclusivity for any movie that's in their theater, especially after COVID, when streaming platforms made a big push and tried to do movies and theaters movies coming out on streaming services and in theaters on the same day, and even after COVID, tried to push that for a little while, if people remember that. But then after that happened, you notice that there hasn't been any more like that. That's because the movie theaters learned really fucking quick, right? They learned really fucking quick that business model hurts their bottom line. So there's been no more. So it makes sense that they push heavily for exclusivity. They push heavily for to make sure that they're the only ones who have this for a certain amount of time, so people have to come to them. Which was a problem for Glitch, because, you know, it goes against everything that they've always promised would be. The way things would be. They promised that everything would, when they signed up for Netflix, for instance, when they were going to bring Amazing Digital Circus to Netflix, they always said the episodes releasing on Netflix and YouTube would be the same day. There would never be any delay between them. So far, that's been true. But for movie theaters, the first time they broke their promise, so it was kind of a big deal. So I proposed that the first theory was that it was the movie theaters doing this. And Glitch wanting to put their movie in the theaters, which is a huge step for them. That's a huge breakthrough for them, to be taken seriously enough that movie theaters are willing to put your movie, are willing to take actual time slots and theater seats. And not like this, like, oh, for one weekend only thing. Oh, I mean, it is for one weekend only, but like the whatchamacallits, like the special event screenings where they do like one night. This is thinking of a whole weekend. Right? This is thinking of a whole weekend of a time slot. From like the 4th to the 7th. And there's going to be probably some more screenings after that, too, and what it sounds like as well. So yeah, this made sense to me. The second theory was Netflix. That Netflix, due to their scheduling bullshit that they usually end up doing, I didn't believe this one was very real. Like, right, this one just more I throw it out there because I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix fucked something up again, because they always do. Right, they always fuck something up. And with the weird scheduling, their things like with animations and anime being on like a bizarre timetable for them. I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix did something that caused the timing to get really fucked up somehow, right? Right, like I would believe that. But I said I believe this one was unlikely. Like, I believe it, but it's unlikely. And it turns out I was right. As Glitch put out a note, a couple days later, they put out a note as to why it was happening, and it was movie theaters. The movie theaters wanted exclusivity, and Glitch negotiated down to 2 weeks, and that was apparently the lowest they could get movie theaters to budge on this. They couldn't. They tried to get down to a week. They tried to get down to a few days, actually, which is what I thought they were gonna do. But instead, they went. But instead, movie theater said no, it can only be 2 weeks. And now they're kind of stuck because they already had an agreement with Netflix on when they're releasing Amazing Digital Circus. They're under contract for that. They can't release it on the YouTube timeline earlier because that'll go against what they agreed with Netflix, that they'd be released on the same date at the same time. So now they're kind of stuck, unfortunately. So they decided that to just go forward with it anyway, because being in movie theaters is a big break for them. It's a big break for indie animations, and it's a big break for them as an indie production studio. Yeah, that does suck. I haven't even gotten to see Iron Lung yet. It's not gonna be on any streaming service, which is weird, because you would think that a streaming service would come by and go, "Hey, your movie it's fucking amazing, and people really seem to like it. Would you like to be on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something?" Oh, they have they? And Markiplier said no? Why? That's weird. Does Mark want to do something else? Does he want to do only physical copies of this shit? Listen to the Distractables. Every streaming service is begging for exclusivity. Yeah. Of course they are. Every single streaming service is basically dying. Exclusivity is the only thing that keeps them relevant. Much like a console war, with exclusivity being the only thing that keeps the console war alive. Which is also why sharing games on all consoles is actually kind of a bad thing. But anyway. Believe it or not, I'm not believing it. I don't know what you're going to say, but I already choose not to believe it. I know what the fuck you're going to say. I don't believe it. It's Crunchyroll. I would believe it. I would believe it because Crunchyroll's the only fucking anime streaming service that people like. Well, tolerate. Like other like Netflix has Netflix Diary. Yeah. If Netflix was doomed as soon as other streaming services came into existence. Meh. Yeah, no, none of them, they're all running into the red. Yeah, every single one of them. And Crunchyroll's only surviving for the moment. Crunchyroll's only surviving for the moment because everything else that Disney, Netflix, Prime are putting out are dog shit. Like, they just put out bad content and no one wants to watch it. And things that aren't bad are available anywhere. So you don't need them for it. So why exactly would you go to Disney? Why exactly would you go to Disney Plus? For that, you know? No, Disney, oh look, another child action like, oh my god, it's more than just fucking that, man. More than just fucking that. It's fucking, oh look, here comes the movie about, here comes the Star Wars movie where we ruin another character. Here comes another Avengers movie where we clearly ran out of ideas and we're dragging, and we already bombed. We took our fourth and fifth phase of Marvel, bombed it into oblivion, and now we're latching on to bringing Robert Downey Jr. back and praying to God that it saves Marvel. And I hear that movie's awful. I hear that movie's like really bad. The talking animal one. Like, Disney has tons of problems. Tons of fucking problems. Yeah, except he can't now. He can't because he's not the same person he was before. He's already done with the character. He's just here. He's not even playing Iron Man. They're having him play Doctor Doom. And they're praying that he'll bring that same energy, but he doesn't have that same energy anymore. He doesn't have the same energy of Robert Downey Jr. living paycheck to fucking paycheck here. They don't have the energy of Robert Downey Jr. I have more money. I was able to fucking come over here and demand an obscene amount of money to go be in your movie. I don't have to give a fuck. The Spider-Man 10 redux. Spider-Man is basically the only thing they had in Marvel that's even halfway decent. No Way Home was actually pretty good. The rest of it, meh. But No Way Home was pretty good. And it's literally all they got. That's all they got. Yeah, they are just in... Disney's just in deep shits. And Star Wars is dead. I'm sure you were very interested in Darth Maul. We brought him back again in the recent Maul series. Grogu's carrying them. Grogu's not even carrying them anymore. That's the sad part. Grogu used to for a second, and then they oversaturated the market with him to the point no one likes him anymore. So they squandered that one. It's the same thing with fucking Pedro Pascal, where everyone's fucking sick of seeing him. Despite the fact he's a good actor, everyone's fucking... They shoved him in the fucking everything. Because he's supposed to be like the new ideal form of the male lead was what they were going for a while. And now everyone fucking hates him. Because he's been fucking everywhere. So it's just like, and they fired Kathleen Kennedy now. Kathleen Kennedy's gone, but like, there's nothing even left of Star Wars to even save at this point. They're gonna have Dave Filoni take over. Dave Filoni, who basically was on board with every single piece of franchise destruction that Star Wars has been enacting for the past like 10 years. Yeah, I'm sure that'll change a whole lot. No, Dave Filoni's gonna come out on stage and do exactly what he's just doing now. He's gonna push his characters into the limelight, his little action figures into the limelight. He's gonna coom over Ahsoka, and then and then that's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have Star Wars being carried by Ahsoka and Rex, and a couple other characters, and then everyone, and we're not even gonna see anything about what made Star Wars anymore. So, Disney. And it's funny because people just, like, the way to go forward from here is just like easy. They had guaranteed success and they fumbled it. In a way that I can't even comprehend how you manage it. I don't know how you have guaranteed success and you throw it into a bin. I don't know how you do that and you still have a job. That's the thing. The reason why Hollywood will never get better. The reason why none of the movies will ever get better. We watched this War expansion trailer. That game's gonna be ass and you know it. That game's gonna be ass and you know it, Stone. Oh no, wait, you're talking about the MMO, aren't you? Yeah. Did they have a new trailer out for that? I haven't seen any of the trailers since the one where Malgus comes back again. And he's talking up that Jedi Padawan into betraying her master. Like, that's the last trailer I saw. Is there a new one? I'm surprised that game is still alive, to be honest with you. Like, talk about a game of resilience. Oh, fuck. It's funny because if you're talking about like the most disappointing game ever made, The Old Republic is probably up there on people's lists of the most disappointing game ever made. Because people really were excited for that game when it was coming out. And it did not deliver. Well, it didn't really deliver what people wanted. Oh, you're watching the old one? The old trailers were really cool. Unfortunately, they didn't want to make those in the movies, which people would have actually really liked. No, I thought you were talking about like that Star Wars Eclipse project. Where remember they made that announcement that they're making a new Knights of the Old Republic game, and we've not heard anything about it in like the year or a year and a half that we heard it from. We've heard absolutely nothing about that game. we go. What was I saying? Yeah, like, the Hollywood's just gonna continue to be shit. Like, Disney, all these fucking, all these studios, all these, like... They need to really, like, cut the fat, as it were. All these people who work in Hollywood right now need to be fired. Hollywood has bloated itself to the position where it can't really do that. In order for it to fix itself, it's going to have to do drastic action because it has to remove all the people they've hired over the past, like, 10 years. But they don't have the balls for it. They'll never do it. Yeah, that's because Hollywood likes to latch on to certain actors and then push them everywhere. Because they're the safe options. Especially since they tried pushing other characters before, but then those characters turned them. But they were the Hollywood's preferred actors, right? They pushed them really heavily, like Rachel Zegler, for instance. Remember when Rachel Zegler was fucking like everywhere? When Snow White was coming out, you could not escape this woman. She was pushed everywhere. And then after Snow White came out, you've never heard from her again, have you? That's because she's turned her name so toxic that Hollywood basically pretends she doesn't exist anymore. And it's a repeating cycle. There are so many actors, so many people that we see who get brought out and paraded around as being the pinnacle of something. Progressive values, anti-toxic masculinity, or updating for modern times and shit like that. And then once the product comes out, they disappear. Once the product comes out and it's shit and everyone hated it, they disappear. They're gone. and they're gone. You never hear from them again. Like, that's why what I mean. Like, Hollywood's mindset when it comes to making movies is so ass backwards that you do have to, like, just remove tons of people from the industry. Hi, Mozzie. Like the Writers Guild, for instance, that shit needs to go. Because not only do they supply nothing but mediocrity, as everything is dragged down to the lowest common denominator in the Writers Guild, they also balloon prices of movies into absolute absurdity because they have to meet guaranteed wages, despite the fact they're not worth it. Despite the fact they ain't fucking worth the price. It's insane. It's insane. By the way, Maz, we're painting a tech priest while I rant about things in the world. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this man. Look at this little guy here. Now I have to coat him in streaking grime, and we'll see how this works out, because I've never used this before. It's about to get real fucking fancy in here. I've never done this before, so I'm a little afraid. I'm actually very afraid. But we're gonna do this together, chat. Together. All right, we're gonna glob it on. We gotta glob it on. This is how it works. You glob it on there. Oh god, it's terrifying. And it smells! Oh god, and it smells too. That's a very acrylic smell coming from it. And put some on that. Okay. Need a bit more. Okay. This is apparently how this works. You just glob it on there. And we come back in like 30 minutes. Right, you glob it on here and you come back in 30 minutes. I gotta get those cables, hold on. Oh, that's hard. Oh, that's hard. Maybe I should have left the cables alone. It's too late now. Too late now, I gotta keep going. Alright, there we go. Alright. So then we leave it dry for 30 minutes. We leave it dry for 30 minutes. And then we come back with mineral spirits. And then we come back with mineral spirits. And we clean it up. And we clean it up. That's apparently how this works. Like new superhero movie where Nathan Fillion plays Guy Gardner in the Green Lantern. He couldn't pass. I couldn't get past how off that felt. You mean like just how he looked, or like how he just kept like appearing everywhere? We actually have a video to watch about that. Alright, so I actually have a video that's like 30 minutes long. So it might be good enough for what we need. And then we'll come back with the mineral spirits. But apparently when you use the mineral spirits, and you use it on this model, after the streaking grime, it will remove the streaking grime, so you want to take off just portions of it, but not all of it, right? Just enough to clean it up a little bit. And then that will be a model. That'll be the base. That'll be the main body of the model, pretty much done. Look how green he is now. That's funny. That's funny. Anyway, while we leave him to dry, let's pull up. Let me see. We should probably actually do it over here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I find it. Hold on. And I'll bring it over here. I'll bring it over from the other computer to this computer. Oh, I should do it on this computer. What am I doing? He didn't look like the guy Garn hair looked stupid on him, in my opinion. No, you're pretty right. He did look ridiculous. Like, not exactly the look I would have chosen for Guy Gardner. For sure. Let me do... Dispo... Okay, let's pause this. And then turn on the tiny monitor. Nope, not that tiny monitor. So I guess that would have worked there actually too, because we have a tiny monitor for that. Hold on. This would have worked just as well. Actually, this would have worked just as well. And we had this video, I also watched this video last week, talking about the Invincible fandom. But it's going to be, unlike Hero Hey, who made weird fucking arguments that didn't really make a lot of sense, Desparu I like, and he makes much better arguments. Oh, I forgot, I gotta unmute this. Unmute that, start again.
Invincible fandom is like wildly sexist.
Hollywood is on fire after facing the consequences of its own actions, and yet has learned absolutely nothing. Its jobs market is collapsing. From the Wall Street Journal, they're making less shows now than in the time around lockdown. And it really
it's true. They have dropped off the map entirely in terms of the show that they're making. They have cratered recently. They're making far less shows than they used to, which, I mean, yeah, when a lot of the lockdown money just dries up and now you have to actually make money off your own merits and not having, like, organizations like BlackRock giving you fuckloads of money as long as you do what they want, which was actually a thing that was happening quite a lot in Hollywood, which is why they didn't seem to really care and it seemed like they had the opinion that they could just, like, shit on their own audience all the time. That's because they were getting money from other places. But now, those other places were getting money from the federal government, being subsidized by the federal government through COVID lockdown funds. But now all that money's gone, right? Just like the tech sector and why it's contracting, and the video game sector and why it's contracting, and everyone's getting fired, is because all this money that they thought would be last forever is now gone. It's all gone now. That money's all gone. It's all dried up. There's no more of it. So now all the people they fucking hired have to be fired because they don't have the money to pay them anymore, which was stupid to hire them in the first place when you didn't have the funds to actually do it.
So much money controlled by such mediocre people. As these job losses are a 1-2 punch, not only are studios making fewer movies, but the ones they are making are increasingly shot outside the US. And that's not something that tariffs and things can solve, as even if these studios were forced to make things into the US, well, now they've got to deal with the unions, which make things so expensive, the number of productions still wouldn't go up.
Yeah, like, that's the thing about unions, why they don't really help things. At least when it comes to movies, right? I want to talk about them in general. Like, look at this. WGA deal, $321 million added to the health fund. Higher health premiums, higher health premium deductibles, higher viewership bonus in streaming, AI meetings, no deal on pay for AI training, and measures to discourage producers from asking for free work. Now, do they have arguments for these things? I'm sure they do, and I'm sure there could be some pretty good arguments. Doesn't really help in a job market that is severely contracting at the moment because the money's drying up and they're not making more money than they're losing anymore. And now you're adding a $321 million to anything that involves you. That involves your union. That's going to be a problem. That's going to ramp up the cost of movies very quickly.
Expensive. The number of productions still wouldn't go up. All you're doing in that regard is making all of the lower budget productions now financially unviable. And that's not the only issue. Streaming isn't really here to save them either. Streamflation at this point just seems to be accelerating. As monthly cost keeps rising, eventually people will be forced to choose between numerous subscriptions, which will mean less customers, less...
Yeah, as another thing too, like the price of fucking streaming services. All these streaming services are just fucking pricing everyone out of the market. Like, I don't think I need to tell any of you about, like, how many times have you seen in the past, like, year, things like Disney Plus or Hulu or Amazon or, not really Amazon, but Paramount, HBO Max, talking about how they're increasing the prices to their movies. Netflix, for instance, did that recently as well. And it's just like, and they're doing it because they're losing customers, so they're trying to make up the difference there of losing people. But it's just gonna create a feedback loop. It just creates a feedback loop of even more people being driven away.
businesses and further consolidation, as all the streaming apps seem to be increasing their prices. Netflix,
Yeah.
Disney, HBO Max, and they're not just increasing the cost, they're getting worse as they do it, removing things like 4K streaming from certain tiers while also increasing the costs of those tiers. Overall,
Yeah, like that too. Like even when you're subscribed, it's not like you get everything in it because they just remove a bunch of things in the background that makes it harder for you to actually enjoy things like 4K streaming. That's on for Amazon Prime, that's on a higher tier now. You have to pay more money for that. No, you want no ads with your Amazon Prime? You have to pay more money for that now. The subscription doesn't get you what it used to. Like Xbox Game Pass, like the Game Pass. The Game Pass is of horrible value now. It used to be good value. Now it sucks ass.
customers are paying more and getting less. You'd think this would send a signal to Hollywood that you're in crisis mode, you've got to do something. You've gone down a wrong path, you're going to have to go backwards to the good old days.
You think someone would realize that you fucked up at some point.
Charge.
Humble me.
Absolutely.
Keep me grounded.
Instead, all you get from Hollywood is the same message of lies and self-interest. Hollywood knows diverse films make more money. So why are black filmmakers still being told to wait? Maybe it's because you're 3% of the population in the UK, 13% of America. And so if you want representation, if you want to make money, you're going to have to stick to making things for the majority of people. Maybe it's because I care more about the quality of the content than your pigmentation levels. Maybe it's because Hollywood making privileged classes has destroyed the industry. And yet despite a focus on identity costing Hollywood...
Yeah, I mean, and as points out, it's all self-interest. Why are they making this argument in the first place? So that they can wedge themselves into so that they can use any identity or any disparity or anything like that as a crutch to basically wedge people who have no business being in the industry, wedging themselves into the industry based on their pigmentation, based on arbitrary characteristics rather than the quality of their work. Which is like, for instance, Peter Dinklage. It's a good example of this. When Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was being announced to being coming out, and that they were making 7 dwarf actors. If any of you remember when Disney announced the remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and Peter Dinklage came out and was arguing at how racist not racist, discriminatory it is to hire dwarf actors. How belittling it is, how it hurts them as people, and what you would find at the end of it though is that Peter Dinklage is just arguing from his own self-interest. Oh, he's fine with being picked as an actor for dwarf roles, but there's not many movies that require dwarf actors. So if there's an increase of say 7 more dwarf actors, raised to a position where they could fill the roles of dwarf actors, well, that's less movies for Peter Dinklage. That's less money in his pocket. So now he's sitting here arguing about discrimination, about things about discrimination, representation, and how Disney shouldn't do these things because it's awful, and the mistreatment of the little people, all to basically paralyze any ability to hire any other dwarf actor so that his bottom line doesn't get hit. And that's what tons of people in Hollywood do. It's what tons of people in Hollywood do. They use characteristics and in-groups to make arguments for their own benefits. Their own self-interest, and basically, or to paralyze conversations about the quality of their work. For instance, when what's-her-name from The Acolyte was talking about how all the criticism of The Acolyte was just racism because she's black, and not that just trying to paralyze the conversation with the fans in any way possible, from pointing out the fact that The Acolyte sucked. And The Acolyte was fucking awful. Had nothing to do with her skin color. It was just terrible. And also pointing out that she makes a big song and dance about her heritage of being black. She never brings up the fact that she's Danish. She never brings up the fact that she's her father is white and Danish. She'll never bring up her Danish ancestry. just the one that gets her work. Just the one she can leverage into getting work, which is what she did when she got the Acolyte job in the first place. If you remember back in the press tours that she did before the Acolyte was coming out and the things that she said, that again, it's all self-interest nonsense.
With hundreds of billions of dollars, all we still get in the current year, 2 days ago, is this guy going, "But have you seen my face?"
Hollywood's track record of hiring diverse leads is paltry.
Good. It means that your grifting didn't work, the kind of thing that harms entertainment.
Period, full stop.
I'm glad you put both of them in, but when you've said full stop, it does kind of imply that the first one was about a woman and not grammatical punctuation.
Secondly, rom-coms have not been made
It's technically correct in a very petty way.
That is true. That's a good point. You should have led with that one and not "Have you seen my face?" I could be Snape, you know.
Think about a rom-com that happens to have black leads.
God, this guy fucking... I love what he said. I could be Snape, you know. I love when he gets properly British. When he gets properly British and says funny words that the British man says. But here is other argument. Hold on.
A rom-com that happens to have black leads, there's a lot of eyeballs.
Well, there's about 13% of the population's eyeballs. If you want to make the argument that representation is important because it gets those people into the cinema, then surely you would want the majority to be represented. Because you see, once you start slicing off those identities, by your own argument, you're kind of just alienating the majority of the nation.
The pressure is there. It's not fair. I don't like it. And I think that if I make a movie good enough for audiences to want to come and see, Hollywood will recognize.
Really wish you'd stuck to that bit as well. Can actually make some good points when you stop having a chip on your shoulder about your ability to tan. But of course, he's not the only one. Everyone in Hollywood is trying.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Well, the last thing he said was true. If it's good enough to get people to want to watch it, then it doesn't matter, right? What matters is the quality of the product at the end of the day. But notice that despite the fact that he believes that, he says all that other shit on top of it too. Just so that he can keep his own self-interest involved. Just so that he can keep the grift going of getting his own representation, as he'll say. So that he can get his end away.
To grift off their own identity. I think my favourite one is, I've got a minge. Gender-balanced hiring and women-led products dip among the top 100 movies. This is not progress. I disagree. This is progress. The numbers keep improving, but I acknowledge there's still work to do. Instead of raising the bar, we're now seeing productions falling below it. This is not progress. This is a reversal. Don't say I never come to you with some good news, because they wanted to advance gender equity. Their problem...
Ah, what good news it is. What good news it is.
was, if the top 100 movies, those being the ones that audiences like, don't contain all the people trying to grift money out of Hollywood, the parasitical leeches that just want to drain the industry dry, then they're going to complain and whine about it, despite obviously proving. If these are the top 100 movies that the audience wants, and you're not in them very much, maybe that's a sign. It's like you could...
Yeah, maybe it's a sign no one wants what you're selling. Maybe it's a sign that what you came over to try to sell Hollywood on, that they bought hook, line, and sinker, wasn't what the audience wanted. How strange. What a weird position to be in.
Already see the direction of trend towards success. Maybe try doing it more, see what happens. Live a little. Because something has to change. At the moment, we have Star Wars movies, where audience...
Well, that just started up by itself on the other monitor for some reason.
In it. Fandango did a survey of the most anticipated movies, and it wasn't even in the top 10. A Star Wars movie. Who would have thought that using a baby to grift easy views could actually fail, as that same target demographic ceased being interested in your puppet baby as they had one? Or no...
Yeah, it is wild. Right. We have Mandalorian and Grogu are coming out in movie theaters, and no one gives a fuck. It is probably going to be the first Star Wars property that ever properly bombs out of theaters. Like, right? Like, I think and people just like, oh well, Solo bombed out of theaters, right? And like only by a little bit. Wasn't a massive bomb. I think this is going to be a fucking travesty. We're gonna see like a $200, $300 million budget, and and they're gonna get like fucking 50 million back. Kind of absolute fucking blowout. Because I just do not see anyone giving a fuck about this movie. No one cares. No one cares about Grogu and Mando, and particularly Grogu, because the cuteness factor of things kind of wore off after a while, and most of the Star Wars audience doesn't really care about baby puppet animatronics. The ones that keep a franchise going, the ones who actually made Star Wars profitable in the first place, they don't give a fuck about Grogu. They've never given a fuck about Grogu. I have him tattooed on my back. You sorry sob. You sorry sod. Do you care about him now, Vega? Do you care about him now? Years on? Did you care about him just as much as the day you saw him? Or are you thinking, nah? Or are you thinking, well, I guess. Sure. It's not a very reassuring sign, is it, Vega? It's not a very reassuring state of events, isn't it? Yes, make 70 Grogu animatronics and fill Disney World with them. And we're going to call it It's a Grogu World After All. Excellent, excellent. Though I would say you seem to be in the minority of this opinion.
Ever once considered that the same biological instinct that would make you interested in a baby on a screen would also naturally expect that baby to grow up over the course of time? Mandalorian and Grogu, not Hollywood's only idea, though, to try and desperately win back some of those jobs. They've also got Stephen Colbert making a Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I forgot. He's okay. I'm just trolling. I would fucking troll that. I would, if I had the power, Vega, if I had the fucking power, I would troll Disney so hard to make them think that Grogu was the most popular thing in the world and have them actually fill Disney World with Grogus. I would totally do that. I would fucking Morbius the fuck out of Disney and just have them heavily commit to Grogu. Put him everywhere. Do it. The reason why people just don't like him is because you didn't try hard enough. Maybe if we just put him in even more places and shove him in even more people's faces, they'll love him now. Anyway, yeah, I forgot about them. They're having Stephen Colbert. If you haven't heard, they're having Stephen Colbert make a new societal movement and pretend Grogu's cool, but buy no Grogu merch. Exactly. Do what people did with Morbius. Make Sony think that people would actually want to go see him in movie theaters, so they put it in movie theaters again, and then lose fuckloads of money again. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know who the fuck decided, but they're having Stephen Colbert write a Lord of the Rings movie. I think it's the one after the Hunt for Gollum, which is also a colossal mistake of a movie. But you know, but I guess this Peter Jackson, who used to care about Lord of the Rings and not putting himself into it, making a movie that Tolkien would want to see. We ain't doing that. That Peter Jackson's dead as fuck. And now we got this one who looks like he smokes a little too much crack and just doesn't really care anymore. Give him a paycheck, whatever. And now we're having Stephen Colbert, who's written stuff. Siren? Let me check the weather. There's a twister siren. Now what's going on over here? Pull up the radar. Apparently there's a severe patch of storm coming through, actually. Outdoor very poor, light jacket. Let me see the local weather. Yes, 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 Piper. Yes, yes, yes. Is a warning. Let's see this. Affected area is the county. Okay. Severe thunderstorm capable of making a tornado. Okay. It might make a tornado. It could make one. Well, I should probably get off then. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to keep going for a while longer. But I should probably get off just in case it might be something. Always want to be prepared. You know, just in case I don't want to get sucked out in a storm during a live stream. As much fun as I would like to making content for you people, I'd rather not be dead. No live tornado reaction. No, I don't think I need to get sucked out with it in the I don't think I need to get sucked out in a cyclone. I don't think that'd be fun. I don't think that'd be really fun. Nah, it'll probably blow over. It looks like it's coming through really fast. That storm is. So it'll be here for a little bit and then it'll be gone. I just hope my basement doesn't flood. But anyway, let's raid Roxy. Alright, thank you all for coming. Sorry for the sudden departure, but it seems like that's just going to have to be the way it is tonight. Everyone have a good one. See you later. Goodbye.